first order of business is to approve the minutes. The minutes have been up here. They are here for those of you with a spyglasses with you. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes? All in favor? Is anyone opposed? The minutes are like this one corrected here. Thank you very much. The minutes are unanimously approved. Our next order of business tonight is to approve our slate of board members. We have one new member joining us this year, Mary Dillow, and many returning board members, many of whom are in the audience. If you could raise your hands, please, if you are serving on the board of the Watch Hill Conservancy. Thank you all for your hard work and enthusiasm. We have made great strides. So do I have a motion to approve the Board of Directors? Second? All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you. The board is unanimously approved. There are a couple of initiatives that the Conservancy is involved with that we'd like to walk you through tonight, a little bit of progress. And this first one and the next one are ones that I will review for you, and then you'll get to hear more interesting and exciting speakers. So our initiative for planning for a resilient future is one that I've been passionate about, Grant's been passionate about, many of our board members have been passionate about for a long time, and we finally got to work on it about 3 years ago. The Conservancy set out to inform ourselves and the community about the expected impacts that climate change would have on our historic village of Watch Hill, particularly the commercial village in Bay Street. Our goal was to move away from an attitude of someday things are going to change because of the climate to defining the specific impacts with a timeline. We needed to define exactly what will change and understand more precisely when we can expect such change, to define specifically where the community is vulnerable geographically over time, and to better understand the magnitude of such impacts, again, over time. This is all being done in an effort to prepare for such change, to understand where we as a community and each of us as individuals, what we can do today, and what we can do in the near future to prepare for these impacts. They're very profound changes. And to work with some urgency to understand all of this while we have time to prepare, time to respond, and time to adapt. This work has already had a positive impact. It provided much of the evidence behind the Fire District's successful grant application, in which they were awarded $250,000 from the state of Rhode Island to make improvements to address serious nuisance tide flooding, both at the entrance of the Napattree Conservation Area and in the paved parking lot near the entrance of the Yacht Club. We assembled a group of community leaders to help us with this important work. Our Resilient Future Working Group is comprised of about 30 individuals and include representatives from the Fire District, the Parks Commission, the town of Westerly, local merchants and the Merchants Association, the Yacht Club, the Musqueamacket Club, the Lighthouse, the Chapel, the Ocean House, East Beach Association, and the Improvement Society. The group was so inspired and found our work so meaningful that we executed a resolution pledging to remain collaborative and committed to the cause. And a copy of our resolution, I'm sure if you have those magnifying glasses again, you can see this on our website. It's there all in plain sight. It's actually very moving. It was something that came very organically out of our work. After our first year, everybody said, we can't stop. We've got to make something happen. And we made this pledge to each other, and again, it's been so very valuable in communications with the town, valuable in communications with the state, valuable in applications for grant work, and perhaps someday valuable for grant applications to actually cause some of the changes that will need to happen to slow some of the impacts of sea level rise. So we're excited to share the highlights of all that we've learned over the last 3 years in a presentation that will be Monday evening, September 13th at 6 o'clock here in the livery. The talk will be Landfair Live style and will feature our own science advisors, the renowned Dr. Peter August and Dr. Brian Oakley. And it should be a fantastic presentation. It'll be about an hour with question and answer. I'm sure you'll have lots of questions. I hope we can give you some interesting answers. So again, join us Monday evening, September 13th at 6 o'clock. Our next activity of involvement has been preserving community character. This is a huge passion of many of ours. It is inherent in the mission of the Watch Hill Conservancy, which is printed right up here. Part of our mission is to preserve and enhance the historic character of our community. This work is of particular importance as all of Watch Hill, or most of Watch Hill, is recognized as a historic district on the National Register of Historic Places, as declared by the United States Secretary of the Interior and the National Park Service. The Watch Hill Historic District Designation Report identifies more than 100 structures. And here's my slide. More than 100 structures that are worthy of contributing to the historic value of the district. This is something that is very worthy of our attention and our work and our commitment to preserve the historic character of our community. The historic character of our community is under constant threat from development pressure, changes to town and state building and zoning codes, and even Mother Nature, with severe weather and increased flooding and rising seas. The Watch Hill Conservancy has been busy over the last few years, very busy, working jointly with the Watch Hill Fire District to stand up to these various pressures, such as variance applications for larger or more expansive homes with no grounds for required hardship, proposed changes to the zoning resolution with little to no consideration for the community's historic character, and preserving the values of the historic district, or town council initiatives to allow street parking on our residential streets. These pressures seem to be increasing, and it will be vital that we stay vigilant to this component of our mission. This work has become increasingly expensive as these review and approval processes are technical, legal, bureaucratic, cumbersome, and more end up litigious. We'll need your generous support, both financially and in person. As you know, with the last street parking proposal, your letters en masse to the town made a huge difference. So in order to continue this work in a meaningful way, we are going to ask for your support, and you'll hear that from us again and again. So with that uplifting note, I'd like to introduce Ms. Janice Sassy, who has been our Napa Tree Area Conservation Manager for more than a dozen years. We learned from Janice earlier this year, that she has had enough of managing the Napa Tree Conservation Area, and lucky for us, she's agreed to stay involved with the Conservancy, helping plan things like Landfair Live. So Janice is here tonight to give us her last report as the Napa Tree Manager.
Thank you, Deborah. So we're having a great season on Napa Tree. Our investigator program, that's the name of our children's program, so you all know, no doubt, that everything the Conservancy does is free. And Steve Brown and Hugh Markey, that have been leading that program for the past 14 years, report the kids are just so happy to get back out on the beach. We had great attendance every year. Every Saturday, we do a free nature walk. Show up at 9 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday, and one of our naturalists will give you a walk, whether you're interested in the history or the environment of the birds. They're there, and they were really well attended this season, especially our horseshoe crab walk. That was, we had a great showing for that. This is our 14th year doing our horseshoe crab monitoring with Project Limulus in connection with U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And if you have an opportunity next season to come out with one of our naturalists doing an evening monitoring, it's magic. They come ashore by the hundreds, and you're out like full moon and on Napa Tree, and it is really a special thing. We've got a great staff of naturalists this season. I think every year they get better, and they're working hard trying to educate our visitors about the natural environment of Napa Tree. Tom Papadilla is doing a great job, as he always does, for like 15 or 16 years, keeping track of our visitors, and we compile some of that data into our State of Napa Tree report, so we're going to be working on that starting in October, November. So we look forward to seeing what that chapter produces. We fledged 4 piping plover chicks this season on Napa Tree. We're really excited about that. This is our 3rd most productive year in the past 20. There's a lot of stressors on those little guys, so we're extremely happy about that. Our Napa Tree Science Advisor, Dr. Brian Oakley, is continuing his quarterly dune transects. He measures the dune to see what erosion and the dunes move as they're supposed to. So we expected that there was going to be a whole lot of information generated from Hurricane Henri, and we know that we dodged a bullet, scientific terms. Grant Simmons has been doing our water quality sampling, and this is at least his 15th year. So he is out on his boat from every single Friday, early in the morning, from May into mid-October, doing his water quality sampling. So, and this season he has not missed any due to weather. So, bravo. Yes, and he's a great cook. So it's a great summer out there, and we just want to thank our science team of naturalists, our science advisors, and it's another great season out there. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to sound check you again. Can you hear me? Am I too loud now? No, we're gonna hold the mic then. I'd like to now introduce Grant Simmons, who was instrumental, along with Chap Barnes, in bringing Janice on board. So, Grant?
I get to hold this?
You get to hold it, the little puffball.
Hi, puffball. Not that close. As you mentioned, Chap and I interviewed and hired Janice 12 years ago, and it's been a short 12 years. It's flown by. I personally can't say enough positive things about the level of professionalism that Janice has, never mind her ability to manage, control staff, and the myriad of people that she has to interact with out on Napa Tree. There was a rumor going around that her team that because she came from law enforcement, she packed a .38 special under. I never saw it, but I always felt as though she had the backbone to pull it out and persuade people to maybe change their point of view. But above that, Janice has really put together some absolutely marvelous things. Despite the mantra that she is not a scientist at all, she is amazed all of the people that she works with, her ability to grasp all of the aspects of natural history out there. She's a quick study, of the fauna, the history, the birds, the plants, which has always added a tremendous kind of boost to her ability to explain all of that to the public that she interacts with. She's passionate, obviously, but the thing that I find the most important, that Janice's contribution to this, is the State of Napatry report. Now, this is it, and it's massive. It's 300 pages of all of the scientific study that we do out on Napatry. And this is not just some cute little document. This is a real scientific study on a whole myriad of subjects. And Janice has been the one who has put this together. This is her blood, sweat, and tears. And I can't be prouder of this document and what Janice has done for us. So this is it. And because of this, and because of Janice's ability to get newspapers to write generous articles about Napatry, it has really put us on the map of conservation groups, scientific studies of endeavor of this type, because people are coming to us and asking us how we do it. So Janice has been the backbone of all of that, and I can't say enough positive things about her, and I wish her a very, very happy future. And I know she's not going far, but my very, very best to you, dear.
Thank you, Grant.
You're welcome.
And I've been really remiss in my introductions. My name's Deborah Lamb, and I'm the president and the chairman of the Watch Hill Conservancy, in case you didn't know who I am or why I'm talking to you. And Grant Simmons is one of our esteemed vice presidents on the board of the Conservancy. Next, because Janice is leaving, we did an extensive search far and wide to find the next Napatry Conservation Area Manager. And, lucky me, he's sitting right here. I'm pleased to introduce to you Daniel Cole, our new Napatry Manager. Daniel has extensive experience. He comes to us from Kissimmee, Florida, where he's been on the management team of a Nature Conservancy wilderness preserve, comprising more than 11,000 acres. His responsibilities at Kissimmee were very similar to our needs here in Napatry: management of rare species, coordinating education and outreach programs, providing a positive experience for visitors, and overseeing a staff of seasonal employees and volunteers. Prior to his work in Kissimmee, Daniel was a park ranger and an education specialist in a number of nature refuges in Florida and New York State. Daniel has a bachelor's degree in biology with a minor in secondary education from Southampton College in Long Island, New York. He has a number of professional certifications from the National Recreation and Parks Association, and we couldn't be more thrilled to have Daniel joining our team as our Napatry Conservation Area Manager. So, Daniel, welcome. Would you stand up for a second? Please give Daniel a warm Watch Hill Conservancy welcome. Thank you. With that said, I'd like to introduce our treasurer, Peter Gumison, who will walk you through our financial standings.
And
There
there we go.
It's right click.
Hi, welcome. Well, I'm pleased to report that the Conservancy is in good financial standing. We have cash receipts, cash outflows, but underpinning it all is an investment account at a local branch of Raymond James Wealth Management firm, and this outlines for you where it is today. The primary sources of receipts for the Conservancy are the fundraising events. We have the membership campaign and also, to some extent, some grants. Now, we haven't had a summer fundraiser for the last 2 summers, unfortunately, due to COVID, but this account is primarily for one-time projects and also rainy day, and what more of a rainy day than COVID. So as you can see, there was a withdrawal here this year to help support the ongoing cash needs of the Conservancy. Don't expect that next year, but even with that, we were just really drawing down gains that we had experienced for the year on the investment account and not dipped into the principal. In terms of the membership campaign, that is the primary source of cash receipts for the Conservancy, the support that you all provide. And we had a record year, a number of members and dollars contributed. We measure it on a non-calendar year of October to November 1st to October 31st of each year. And what's really encouraging with the chart is the primary increase in number of donors is in that $25 to $500 contribution range. So we're expanding and getting deeper and more diverse in our support here in the community. It is necessary. We have real expenses. The Conservancy has grown. There's cash needs out at Napa Tree. There's cash needs to maintain character. Unfortunately, that involves some legal expenses because that is the primary avenue of seeking to stop changes that we will have an opinion on. But there's also the management of the properties. We manage anything from a lot out at Napa Tree to something more here in town, land trust, or even part of this facility here at 1 Bay Street. Delivery room here is a room that we own and manage. And obviously also to support the Land for Life series, and that's what you're all here today to hear. So overall, we appreciate the support, and we will be back to you shortly for the 2022 campaign after the budget has been put together, which we hope to do this fall. But thank you.
This is the Peter Squared part of the evening's presentations. Peter Gummerson, Peter August. I am the science advisor for Napa Tree, a vice president for the Conservancy, and I want to just make a couple of remarks on this year's Landfair Live presentation. And let me start my remarks by going back about 12 years. 12 years ago, Fred Whittemore, Chap Barnes, Grant Simmons, Brian Thompson, and soon to join the group, Richie Youngkin got together and said, you know what, let's turn that condemned building, 1 Bay Street, into a community center, a place where the community can meet, can learn, socialize, get to know each other, get caught up on world events, and it's happened. And I think Landfair Live really demonstrates that early vision for this space. And all of you have really made it happen. Our attendance numbers this year have been off the chart. The diversity and quality of speakers that Janice and her team have pulled together have been fantastic, and that's the cause for our great attendance. Jim Karpaychak over by the sliding doors and his video magic has created a video legacy of these talks. You would be shocked at the number of views that we continue to get even a year after the fact in last year's Landfair Live presentations. Making Landfair Live happen takes a village, and let me just point out a few folks who do this. Janice back in the table coordinates everything. Jocelyn Leahy over at the bar cracking another open bottle for, I don't know if that's for her or for you, but she helps coordinate all this. Lori next to Jocelyn has been an absolute fantastic help. Where's Tom Papadilla? Tom is in the back. The room gets set up perfect, broken down perfectly. Tommy is there to take care of every little thing. Deborah and the board, this happens because Deborah and the board have stood behind it. Let's see, has Grant Simmons contributed much to Landfair Live? Oh my God. Grant, your I think that we're hitting record numbers. because of your appetizers. You're drawing people in. It's well deserved. And I also want to give a shout out to a key player, Morgan Anderson. Morgan was a Washoe Conservancy's intern. He's gone off to college last week. Morgan helped out with absolutely everything, whether it was lugging chairs from the beach club to here, setting up, breaking down, helping put together the PowerPoints. Morgan was an absolute terrific helper. And so I think that Lanphier Live, all along, and especially this year, has really marked the achievement of the vision that those old timers had when they set upon themselves to raise some money and create this beautiful venue. So I wanted to get that out. I wanted to thank all of you for attending, and certainly the team that makes this happen. Deborah, do you deputize me to ask if there is a motion to close the business meeting?
I do.
Do I hear a motion? The last time Deborah stood so nicely and said, "I do," was when she married Peter Lamb in the back of the room. Yeah, our third Peter of the program. So, do I hear a second on that motion? Very good. All in favor, say aye. All opposed and who want the business meeting to go on for another couple of hours? I don't hear any opposition. The business meeting is closed.